guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming on to make a journal with you all, and I will do it all on, well, I say all, just constructing the general base of the journal. I will probably share videos of embellishing it along the way, but if you watched my previous video where I did my antique or vintage shopping haul, I purchased this leather wallet. Maybe it was like a travel wallet or something, because I imagine it would also hold documents, but I just love all these pockets and windows that are included in the journal. So what I wanted to do is turn it into a single signature journal. But if you watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I love adding flaps and, you know, tuck spots, fold outs, all that type of thing. So I've got a variety of bits and pieces that I want to add. So I will begin the process now. I've selected just some general papers. So I've got envelopes, well, pockets. This will fold in half. I'll then decorate it to cover these. I've got smaller pages because obviously this will be a smaller journal. Just some general coffee stained pages. So a handful of those. Some envelopes, which you'll see how I'm going to use them. These are the size of the envelopes. Again, some small paper that's just pulled out of a notebook, tea or coffee stained. Some of this, I'm not sure what that's called. And then just some full-size pages, again, tea and coffee stained, and then a page of a catalogue. Right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew it in with a pamphlet stitch, and this will be my binding for the journal. Well, not my binding, sorry, my closure, because I want it to be really simple. I don't think I want to put anything on the cover. I literally just want it to be as it is. So I'm just going to put that around, and it will just be able to tie up, and I'll sew that in when I do my signatures. So I'll sew that into the pamphlet stitch, if that makes sense. Now, this journal has got some room to grow. If you see there, the spine will expand. So with that, so when you do that, look, you're making the cover shorter. So I do need to factor in making some of the pages shorter. I can't just do it the width of this, because if it then grows and the spine has to expand around the pages and all the bits that I'm inevitably going to stick into here, then I need to, if you see what I mean, if that will grow up. So I'll try and do what I can. I can always trim some of the pages after if necessary. Right, so anyway, let's crack on with this. So I'm going to fold this and see roughly where it's going to come to. So it's going to come way further out than what I want it to. So I'll fold it to about here. That will be a nice size of a page, I imagine. And then this bit here will make a fold out. So fold that in. I always do my fold out as a little bit shorter, because you can never cut that down, can you? I can cut this page down if I want to, but I can't cut my fold. Okay. So that's that. I obviously need to trim the height. I'm just going to keep my trim here. So I don't actually have a ruler to hand. My ruler's downstairs. So this journal is 4 inches wide and 7 inches tall, just under 7 inches. So I'll stick you in there. So that's a good base now. So this will be my template for all the sizes of the pages. I won't go bigger than this. So what I'm going to do first is construct this fold out here, because I want there to be some pages behind there. Okay. So let's get sorted. So what have we got? Now I could put some of those, but they're going to be too wide. might be a good size. Maybe trim it a little bit so I can make it a bit shorter. I'm just going to trim a tiny bit off. So now that can be sewn in there, and that will add a nice little texture. All I do really is when I do this, I just play about with little, you know, fold outs and think, oh, that'll be cool, and you know, before you know it, you've got quite a few pages added. So I want to add one more, I think. Let's have a look at this. That's a bit taller than that. Don't want it to be the same because that's like mottled as well. So I'm going to have to cut this down because this is going to be too tall, so maybe I'll include a bit of that. So that's too tall, so cut it down, fold it in half, and then I'll trim off this border here. Okay, just checking that you can see everything okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I like that. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm just going to sew it in my sewing machine. I'm just going to do a straight running stitch all the way down there. I think that's what it's called when you just do a normal stitch. So I'm going to do that now. You know, you don't want to listen to the sewing machine, so I'm going to pause the video and come back to you. Okay, so just a straight stitch down there, you can see it on the back, and then you will just need to fold it just to crease everything nicely again. Sometimes if you go slightly off centre, it makes it a little bit harder to open. So that will go in there. That will fold out like that, so that's great. Okay, so I'll do a simple page next, I think. So let's have a look, just one of these. Fold that. It's definitely going to need trimming. Yeah. I know there's a lot of coffee staining, but I want it to look quite like a weathered. So I want it to look quite grungy. Okay. Let's have a look what else we've got. So we've got plain piece, but I generally like there to be big, small, big, small, big, small. So maybe this catalogue. Is that too tall still? I can always change the order of things after as well. Now, one idea that I had with my envelopes, I'll just get you those. Now, I've got 2 envelopes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck that envelope inside there, and I'll glue it in just a moment. So tuck it all the way in, and then you've got 2 envelopes. And what I'll generally do is I'll cut a circle out there so you can insert that way, or I'll make an opening just there. So let me have a look. Yeah, they might eventually need trimming down slightly. So let's have it again, just put it in the journal. There's still loads of room for this journal to expand. So what I'll end up doing is I'll just cut straight down there. So I'll do that now. And then I'm going to get a little bit of glue and just glue them together. If you have watched my videos the last couple of weeks, I am seriously low on glue. You're probably fed up of me squeezing my glue bottle. So just feed it in. It doesn't matter if you get glue on the other flap because that's going to get glued down as well. Press them together. Yep. There you have it. You don't want to glue there because you might want to go in from this side with the pocket, even though you've got the opening there. I won't glue down that flap for now because I might like to turn it into a tuck spot or some type of decoration, so I'll just wipe that glue off. So let's have a look what we've got now. I think I want to add another fold out, so like the first page that we did, but this time I'll do the fold on this side of the journal. Okay. So, oh god, that was my cat sneezing. It scared the life out of me. Right, just I'm all fingers and thumbs. Let me get my original one. Okay. So that's where it needs to be folded. Okay, and I think I need to take some of the height off. I'm going to take the height off this side because I like that effect. I don't want to cut that off, so I'll do it off the other end. Okay. Again, I don't mind that all the size, you know, they're all different sizes. So I need a little bit for in here now. Right. I might use this. Probably going to need cutting down. I think I'll leave the ripped end so you can see that, and maybe I'll rip the other end. Just so that they both match. There we go. And then I'll add something in the middle. So I'm going to look for my scraps because it's not going to be a huge piece, is it really? So I'm sure you've all seen this scrap basket of mine before. So I've got that, but it folds the wrong way. Not going to be much good. Oh, maybe that will work. I'm not sure whether I should just use this section, but again, it's going to be too small for anything. Okay, I might just rip it along there because the rest of this has been ripped, so I'll just rip it, get rid of that. So I think I might prefer them the other way around so that that one goes there. Okay, not too sure on that, but I'll stick it in anyway. Okay, so again what I'm going to do is go to my sewing machine and just do a straight stitch down there. Just want to make sure I've got those. And I just hold them in place. I don't clip them, so I just hold them like this, take it to my sewing machine and go. So I'll do that again. Okay, that's that done. So you can see there I didn't quite stitch exactly on the bend, but it doesn't make any difference to how it functions. You know, once you've creased it, it's absolutely fine. Right, so let's get our signature back to where it was. That was on that side. Now we've got one on this side, so it's already starting to look quite chunky for something that I wanted to just be a single signature. Okay. I think this is going to get really chunky by the time I add all of the embellishments. So I'm probably going to need to cut down on things that I wanted to actually add in. So let's have a look where we are. So that needs trimming a little bit, so I'm just going to take a little bit off the top. Oh, my trimmer's ripped it. I hate my trimmer sometimes. I've got the tonic one and the blades are just rubbish. I need to invest in, you know, one of the guillotine ones that you don't have to replace the blades on. They are a little bit more of an investment, aren't they? Right. So I'm going to add a pocket. Just fold that straight in half. Stick that in there. And I've got this little piece of glassine or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to add that further in the journal. So let's have a look. Maybe that would actually look nice over that first page. No, I think it needs to be one that's a bit bigger. Yeah, maybe there. Okay, I'm going to take this and add that against this. No, I'll take this one and add it against that. The only reason being is because I don't want two pockets and I don't want two big pages. I want it to look quite pleasing to the eye. I'm going to add that there. Now what I also wanted to do is I've got this small page. I wanted to add this envelope. I wanted the envelope to be there over this page, so it can go in like that. Then I wanted the envelope to fold out and there to be some more pages there, so I'm going to do that now, but to do that I'll add the envelope after. Okay, so let me shift those out of the way. So basically what I need to do is make a few more pages in this crease here, so like we just did in that folded one, but I'll do it in there. So I think I need to use some thinner paper, but what I've got sorted out is quite thick. Right. Trim it down. Just take some of the width off as well. You're still going to be able to use the envelope because I'll cut the envelope there. My heart stops when I always cut an envelope because I think, oh, don't tear it because of how rubbish my trimmer is. Okay, so let me show you what I mean now. So that was going to go like that, and again I'll sew all of this with my sewing machine. So that will go there. I'll glue that down. So you'll open the page as normal, you'll pull this open and there'll be some pages there. So it's quite cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine and just sew down that middle line like we have done with everything else. So just give me a moment. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And now I'm just going to glue it onto here. It looks really cool and layered, I think. So glue that on there now. You don't necessarily have to do this bit at this, you know, the creating the signature stage. Anytime you add an envelope, you can do this type of thing. I just think it makes a really nice, interesting journal. all I would say is make sure that the paper that you're putting the envelope on, that it's not too thin, because it needs to be able to hold the weight of the envelope and all the extra pages that you're putting on the strain of this hinge here. So it needs to be quite a strong paper. Okay. So I think I'm going to leave it there for the actual pages in this journal, because if we look, it's already quite thick, and then I'm going to add embellishments. With embellishments, it almost doubles, I would imagine. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to sew it with my sewing machine. I don't know whether to risk doing that. I might give it a go because it's not too bad. And if it fails, then, well, it just adds to the character of the back of the journal. So what I'm going to do now is just check that I like how all the pages are positioned. If I don't think I'll be able to sew it, then I'll just do the normal pamphlet stitch like I said. So I like to bring up some of the pages, just change some of the heights. And then I just make sure it's all in there. And with this, I need something to hold it, even if I'm going to do it through the sewing machine. Just to make sure it all stays in the middle, like you would do if you was doing your pamphlet stitch. Really, you need to hold it all in. Okay. And I wanted to do that thread as well, didn't I? Well, not the thread, the ribbon. So I'm going to take off more than I think I'll need, because it's always better to have more, especially when you want to tie a bow. Okay, a bit more. That's inside out. So then I'll try and hold that there and run it through the sewing machine. I don't know if that's going to work, but I'll give it a try. It might not. So I'm going to hold it all open like this. Oh, this isn't going to work. And I'm going to put it through the sewing machine. Maybe when I get halfway I'll check that this is going to be going straight. Maybe this will be my test. Yeah, I'll put that on and I'll sew it going forward, and to see whether I can actually sew through this leather. Yes, good idea. So 1 second, I'll pause the camera and I'll come back to update you. Okay, so that actually sewed that quite well. So obviously got these threads. I will tie them off. I don't usually tie my threads off, but I don't want this coming loose at all. And I'll cut these threads off because I don't want it to interfere with my sewing machine when I go over it again, to try and add these signatures. Okay, I'll give it a go. I'll pause the camera and I'll come back. If you don't have a sewing machine and you're more comfortable with the pamphlet stitch, I hate sewing in signatures. So if I can get it over in a minute under the sewing machine, I would take that option any day. So I'm just going to try and position it there and just run it through. So fingers crossed for me. Okay, so I haven't looked at the back. Oh wow. Wow, yeah, I'm really happy with that. I haven't sewn it quite bang on the middle. So let me just tie off the threads. Again, I don't want them to come loose. I love leaving those threads hanging, so I will do that. So let's have a look now at this. Wow, I love that. I'm really happy with the way that's turned out. So all I do is press down just to make sure everything's in. So we've got the pocket there. I fold out. And I can still get in the big pockets either side, so I'm very happy with that. So let's test how this bow will do, because it is quite thick ribbon. I can always tie it more to the front. Love it. I think that is perfect. I really like that. Yeah, that's great. It's going to look so good when it's embellished and there's bits poking out here and there. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's been a little bit of a longer one, but yeah, I love doing this type of thing, all these interactive bits rather than just doing pages that are the same height and stuff like that. I like the more shabbier look. So thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.